Hey, well, I have finally come back with another vlog, and I want to start this one off by saying something that makes me very, very happy. I had to fold this to get rid of any identifying information, but you probably can't read it too well, but basically, my balance for the first of my 4 loans is at 0. I have paid it off. Scarmiglione is officially dead. And you probably don't know what that means, but I am such a big dork. I actually named my 4 loans after the 4 fiends from Final Fantasy IV. And I named them in the order you fight them in-game, so Scarmiglione, Kainazo, Barbaricia, and Rubicante. And that means that Scarmiglione is dead. That was the one with the highest interest rate, and also the highest balance. But now it's at 0, so I am done paying that one off. Which is great, because that's less I have to pay on that one, and I can relax now. I don't have to work so hard. I'm still going to work. I still got to pay off the next 3, but the first one's gone, so that's a major kick in the bucket. And that one was the biggest effort. The most effort I had to put in was that one, and it's finally gone. And so it feels so good to say. And if I work well enough, the next 2 had a slightly more, combined, they had slightly more balance than the first one. So if I work hard enough, probably by another 4 or 5 months, those will also be paid down, and I'll be down to the last one, which is a much higher balance, but also much lower interest rate. So that one will be much more manageable. But I picked up a lot of cool stuff this weekend. And I thought I would go in order of least interesting to most interesting, and just kind of show it off and show what I have. First, I have a box. No, this really is just a box. There's absolutely nothing in here except a couple of sleeves. Yeah, I am planning on. I pre-ordered my booster box for the Final Fantasy trading card game like a month ago. And that comes out at the end of the month, so that will be really cool. I'm probably going to film an unboxing and opening of all the boosters. Maybe. I'm not sure. That could be fun, but this is actually interesting because I've never owned a long box like this either. So I also got some sleeves, so I'll be able to protect them once I make decks out of them. So, like I said, least interesting to most interesting. So these are going to get a bit more interesting as we go on. Next up, we have a book. Promise, this is the last stupid thing. Maybe one more, but this is the last stupid thing on the list. This is a Kanji and Kana dictionary, handbook for dictionary Japanese. I'm still trying to learn Japanese, so I think this is going to be a really nice resource. Still have no idea how the hell you're supposed to look up these symbols. I believe you look it up based on the radicals, but geez, that must be a major pain to try to find something in here. But that'll be a good resource to have down the line. And finally, we have some games. Why did I say finally? I have a lot more stuff to do. We got Seen It. I am planning on using this during an upcoming Halloween party. It's got the 4 wireless controllers. I got my 360 already hooked up out there, so that could be kind of fun. And it was fairly cheap. It was not too much, and it's way cheaper than I would have gotten it at like GameStop or something. I don't even think you can find this there anymore. But yeah, this should be fun to do. Should be fun to play around with. The game should be in here. It comes with controllers, which is neat, and that will be a lot of fun to play with at the party. See how we do in answering trivia questions, because trivia games are good casual to just hang out and play with. I also picked up this. This is what I'm planning for a future test chamber episode. I actually started writing this as a video game bunker episode. That's how old this concept is. This is at least 2 years, maybe 3 years in the pipeline. Magic the Gathering Battle Mage. I believe the first Magic game to come out based on the cards that was a digital game. I don't know if the original Duel of Planeswalkers, the DOS game, came out at the same time as this. I'm pretty sure it came out afterward, because this is, what, 1996? 1997 by Acclaim. The big problem with this, if you can't see it, real-time strategic warfare. Yeah, they took Magic the Gathering and they turned it into an RTS. I'll tell you right now, this game sucks. I played it. It does not control well. Everything you want to do is buried in this huge mass of nested menus. The controls are not consistent. Different buttons do different things depending on what menu you're in. There's like confirm and cancel, or just they keep moving around the controller, and there's no way to know what one button's going to do unless you just memorize it. But it came with the book and the discs, and it was only $5 at a Frankenstein's collectible show, same place I got the box. So that's definitely going to be interesting. I'm also planning on talking about other stuff, because I played Magic the Gathering for a really long time. I played, probably started in like 97 when this came out. I played right around when it came out, so I've been interested in the game pretty much since the beginning. And that episode is going to kind of go into why I stopped playing and what I hate about Modern Magic. So that's going to be kind of a cathartic episode for me to go through. Because, like I said, I planned it originally as a video game bunker episode, so I need to go through the script and change a couple of things around because there's references that I need to fix. And if you watch the episode, you may notice what some of those are, depending on what I do. So that's going to be interesting to do in the future. But I had already captured footage off an emulator, but now I have the actual game, which is probably a better way to go about it. Because if you're going to tear into a game, you might as well at least own it. I also picked up Fallout 3, the official strategy. Look how fucking thick this thing is. How many pages is this? 460 pages. The official Fallout 3 game guide. Covers all platforms, but I don't think it covers the DLC. And I always loved strategy guides. I always loved paperback and hardback strategy guides because, yeah, you have the internet, you can look all this stuff up on the internet, but there's just something about being able to have the book on your lap as you're playing, and you can look through the guide, and you can see exactly what you need. I always love all the little, I just had one. I always love all the maps. I love the maps. I love the maps like that. I always love the tables and everything. This probably had a poster in it, but it's been taken out. Because, yeah, this was secondhand, obviously. But I always love stuff like this. I have a bunch of these things. Maybe I should do an episode about just how awesome it is to have like official dead tree formats, as they call them, strategy guide. Because there's just something about having a physical book that you can have with you and just have it as a reference guide. There's just something about it. I don't know. There's just something cool. And speaking of strategy guides, you thought this one was big with its 560 pages. 460 pages. Try 1100. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Legendary Edition hardback. A hardback book with a fucking bookmark. With a fucking ribbon bookmark that it comes with. And it's even it even has sections. It's separated by section, so you can you quickly thumb through to the section you need. Because this is section 5, section 3. This is section 4. This is probably the full walkthrough of the game. Section 5, I'm not sure what that would be. Section 6 near the end, the appendices and charts and graphs and everything about this. Checklist for all the items that you can pick up. Language of the dragons, the index. And, of course, the pull-out poster, which was not used. Because I also got this one secondhand, but it was in better condition because it was by a guy who gave a shit. Unlike this thing, who obviously had the cover ripped off and taped back together. They did a decent enough job of it, I suppose. But I mean, look, 1,100 pages. This is like the size of Lord of the Rings. This is Can we compare that? This is probably the biggest book I have in reach right now. Look at that. Hitchhiker's Guide. This is 6 books. This is only 800. Yeah, this is only 820 pages. And it's smaller, too. So, I mean, it's thicker, so it's obviously printed on thicker stock, but could you write 1,100 pages on anything? And just the fact that this book had to be so thick, because this also covers all the DLC. That's part of the reason it's so thick. Quiet, dog. could you imagine? That's why I love the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games so much, because they put so much effort and detail into these games. Because every single thing you see in the game was placed there deliberately by one of the developers. I mean, yeah, they reuse assets, but every single thing in here, someone made a conscious decision to put it in there. And that kind of care and detail in these games is really commendable. That's the kind of thing that I want to use. I want to use that kind of attention and attention to detail for something like this. I want to use that in my games. That's why a lot of my games are taking so long to fucking finish. Stuff like because I really want to put something out there, but I'm such a procrastinator. I'm such a perfectionist that it's going to take forever. And of course, having to spend all my time working on paying off bills is also a pain. But now that that's working out, you see, oh no, you see my information. Now that that's working out, hopefully that will change in the future. And finally, I put this at the top of at the end because I think it's the coolest thing I picked up yesterday. Hopefully you'll agree. It's a Tuskar! It's a Tuskar sculpture. I believe he's made of vinyl. He's quite heavy because it's all solid right there in the belly, but the spears are movable. They got this really cool looking spear. Look at the sculpt on this guy. This guy's fucking amazing. Look at this dude. Look at all the detail on him. You can see the carvings of his tusks, his tiny beady little eyes. You see his vest. You can see the teeth around him. You see, even on his back, you got these hooks. You got the drinking horn. I don't know if that is a drinking horn or maybe it's maybe a sounding horn. You got this little satchel of whatever that is, probably some sort of booze. You can see his feet, his toes. He stands up really nice, and even the detail on his spear. You got this rope around it. You got this hook on it that looks like a fish hook, but it's made of vinyl or rubber. Slips into there, slips into his hand like that. This is going on my shelf. This is definitely gonna be a centerpiece. This is like Commander Odo right there. I'll fix that later. But yeah, this was awesome. This was from the same guy who got the Skyrim book from. So yeah, that's some nice stuff. Adventure ho! So yeah, that's what I picked up this weekend. I'm gonna try to pose him in frame. There you go. Here, why don't you stand on the Fallout book? There we go. So yeah, that's what I picked up this weekend. Really cool stuff. The Tuskar is definitely my favorite, but Battle Mage is going to be interesting to look through over again. Get some good footage from that. So thank you everybody for watching, and thank you for your support. Thank you for your support on the channel. I've recently reached 1,100 on my main channel, which is great. And thank you all for watching, and thank you for taking care, and take care of yourselves. And goodbye, everybody.